Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Moa, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you from the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so pleased that you decided to make us a part of your day.
And we've also got AMC Movie News Production Manager, Dennis Zen.
Hey guys, it looks like me and John are twins today.
I'm so embarrassed we didn't know we were wearing the same thing today.
Ooh, fashion faux pas. And we've also got writer-director Jon Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on? I got a skull face, at least, so I kind of match with these guys.
He didn't want to be triplets with us.
Yeah, kind of, it's like triplets, doubles, and side skull.
New reports have emerged that suggest the upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past may end up being Fox Studios' second most expensive film in their history, behind only James Cameron's Avatar, which cost a reported $500 million to make and market. Presumably, this would make X-Men Days of Future Past the most expensive superhero film of all time. John, what do you think of Fox putting this much money behind the new X-Men film?
Scary, but necessary. Look, Fox recently let the rights to Daredevil go. They are all in on their X-Men and Fantastic Four reboots, that universe that they're trying to create, this shared universe. They are all in. They need X-Men Days of Future Past not just to be successful, they need it to be damn successful. I mean, a lot successful. Now let's put this into a little bit of context, okay? The Wolverine was really successful for them, made $400 million worldwide, okay? Great. But that other studio doing Marvel films, Marvel, that's only 1/3 of what Iron Man 3 made. Less than 1/3 of what Avengers made. Like $300 or $400 million less than some of the other Marvel properties. I mean, so it's good, but if they really want to boot kick a whole new shared universe with X-Men, Fantastic Four, they are putting all their eggs in this basket. And they're starting it right. Take all of our beloved cast from the old X-Men films. Take the cast from, X-Men Days of Future Past. Put them all together. Keep the focus on the most popular characters, blah, 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 blah. They're putting a lot of money behind this. The marketing campaign is probably going to be at least $100 million to market this damn thing. It is absolutely crucial and essential that this, for Fox, is a major hit. They know it, and they're going to put a lot of financing behind it. So it makes sense. Dennis, how do you see it?
It means that they have a lot of faith and trust in both Bryan Singer
It's true.
and the X-Men franchise. And yeah, I think they want this kind of mini Marvel universe, like a side cinematic universe to Marvel Studios. And yeah, it is interesting that something like Wolverine, which people who know about the comic books know that Wolverine was a much more popular character than Iron Man ever was before the movies.
Before the movie started, yep.
And it's funny how now because of the movie franchise, Iron Man's so big now, and Wolverine can't even get, what'd you say, 1/3 of what Iron Man made. So I think they see that and go, look, this has the potential to be even bigger than that, so let's go for it.
Schnepp?
Well, it only made 1/3 of the money because, the Mandarin versus Viper, they're like.
And Iron Man 3 was directly coming off of Avengers, the biggest comic book film in history. Yeah.
So and Wolverine was coming off of Wolverine Origins, so you have that going for it. So I think them spending more money going back for the reshoots is great. I keep waiting for them to announce that they're going to split this movie into 2 movies.
I have been too. I've been waiting for months.
I want that to happen so badly, only because it seems like it's so crammed. It's like got 30 characters in it, plus like 2 Magnetos, 2 Xaviers. I mean, I really want to enjoy it, but I just don't want to have characters be like, "Hey, what's up? My name's Quicksilver," and it's over. And it feels like that's what's going to happen with this movie. So hopefully, they are going to make a big announcement and say, "Hey, we're breaking this up into 2 movies."
Getting kind of close though. I mean, it's in May. I mean, we're real close now. We're like within 6 months.
That could be what some of these reshoots are. I don't know. Hopefully, Bryan Singer's been given giant budgets before Superman Returns and, didn't really deliver the goods. So I'm hoping with him coming back to what launched his career, aside from Usual Suspects, which was one of my faves, he's going to deliver. So I'm hoping he delivers 2 movies.
All right, me too. What's next?
Remember this picture of J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilm head honcho Kathleen Kennedy posing with an R2-D2 model? Well, it turns out the most key part of the picture are the 2 gentlemen standing with them. Lee Towersey and Oliver Steeples are Star Wars fans and members of the worldwide R2-D2 Builders Club, who were hired to build droids including R2-D2 for the upcoming film after Kennedy saw their R2 models at the fan convention Celebrations Europe. This seems to confirm the speculation that R2-D2 will indeed be appearing in the new film. John, is it good news or bad news that R2-D2 will be in the new Star Wars?
Oh, it's great news. It's really great news. R2-D2 is quintessentially a part of Star Wars, and he's got to be there, absolutely. Now, however, saying that, and everybody knows I am the world's biggest Star Wars fanatic. But having said that, let's not forget R2-D2 was also in the prequels, and that didn't save those awful pieces of crap. So, but yes, I'm really excited he's there. But to me, the coolest part of this story is about these 2 guys whose names I won't try to pronounce, that Ashley just mentioned. The 2 guys we see standing in the back with Kennedy and J.J. Abrams. They're just Star Wars fans who got into a hobby of building these replica droids from Star Wars, showed them off at a fan convention, and then Kathleen Kennedy saw them and hired them to work on the new Star Wars movie. This is one of the great, if you're a film fan, this is your dream.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the greatest stories ever. I'm so happy for these guys. I'm so excited for them. And look, from the stuff I started to look up some of their stuff, their work is fantastic. They make really good looking stuff. So I'm thrilled for these dudes. Very happy R2-D2 is going to be there, but I don't think that's going to be the make or break point because like I said, he was also in the prequels. But still, love that he's there. But the story for me about this, 2 fans, suddenly now they're working on Star Wars. So amazing. Anyway, Schnepp, how do you see it?
When you looked them up, are they the guys who go to all the conventions and have the remote-controlled R2-D2s?
I don't know if it's them particularly, or I'm certain it's part of the same club, the R2-D2 Worldwide
We
fan
saw
club.
some at Kamikaze.
We did. They had some really
They had a
good
bunch of
ones,
droids
too.
running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because we mentioned those 2 guys on the show a couple days ago. We're like, who are those 2 humps? Oh my God, they're the dudes who made R2-D2. Yeah, I mean, or the new iteration of what's
Yes.
going to be in the series. I think it's great too. I had no idea that that's who I thought those were just like 2 guys, unnamed dudes hanging out. Like we're the handlers, JJ's handlers or whatever, But they're actually R2's handlers. So yeah, I think it's great news.
Dennis?
Yeah, I think it's good news. It's not a big surprise. We all said previously that we thought R2-D2 was going to be in the next Star Wars. We just didn't think the picture was the confirmation. But apparently, now they revealed this bit of news, it is. Yeah, I think it's really cool that these fans, sometimes, though, the fans probably have more knowledge than sometimes the people that are working on these things.
Make no mistake about it. Yeah.
Like, I've heard of other movies or even like video game stuff where they hire people who are just fanatics about especially like costume design,
right?
And they know more about the costume and designs of like a armor of a particular character more so than the people doing it. Right. So I think it's a good move.
One of the things I really take away from this is it reminds me, talking about these 2 guys who now live in the dream, right? I get a lot of people asking me all the time, and I've addressed this on Mailbag, but a lot of people ask me all the time, John, how can we do what you do? Because here we are, we're all living in Hollywood, we get to talk movies all day and see movies and blah, blah, blah. But it's the same thing about these 2 guys. A lot of people write to me and ask, how can I just do it? Because a lot of people just want somebody to come and hand it to them.
Yes.
Just come and give me a job working on Star Wars. Come and let me be a guy living in Hollywood talking about movies all day. The key to it is what these guys did, which is do something. These guys aren't just fans, they were dreamers who then took their dreams and actually did something about it. They didn't just sit around and say, wouldn't it be cool if we had art? No, they set about the art of making droids. And they worked at it and worked at it and worked at it to the point that they became some of the best in the world, just doing it as fans. So they actually had physical stuff that they could show people so that when the time came and you had the CEO of Lucasfilm walking by and seeing their stuff, they actually had, this is what I can do. And so I tell people too, who are often asking, how can we do what you guys do? I tell people all the time, start a blog, run it for a few years, get a podcast going, build up your readership so that at some point when a site like Slash Film or Coming Soon or all these great online film sites are looking for people to hire, you're not just, oh, I'm sure I could do good. No, you've actually got something to show them. You've got your R2 unit that you can show them, this is what I've done and this is what I can do. And it's these guys are a great testament to that. And I'm just so happy and excited for them that they were able to make it. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show called Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Schnepp, Dennis, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
With Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible 5 confirmed for hitting AMC theaters everywhere on Christmas Day 2015, speculation has begun on what other cast will fill out the movie. Actor Simon Pegg was recently asked if he would reprise his role from Mission Impossible 4 and said the following: "Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I've already started eating 1 carrot a day in order to be in shape." Dennis, buy or sell Simon Pegg returning for Mission Impossible 5?
I buy it. I like Simon Pegg. I like him in the movies that he's a lead in, and I like him as a side character in Mission Impossible as like the comic relief. So I think it's a good sign. I hope they can bring back some of the other characters as well.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this enthusiastically. For one of the reasons is that Simon Pegg in Mission Impossible 4, the Mission Impossible franchise always had a degree of humor in it, but Simon Pegg, as Tom Cruise's character and the other characters get more serious and more dark, Simon Pegg became the humor element, but he was never a clown.
Right.
He brought a humor element without just being the clown to make people laugh. He wasn't the Jar Jar Binks,
right,
if you will, of that. And I really I love Pegg. I mean, I think he's just a comedic genius. I think he's going to do really well, so I'm really thrilled that he's come back for this. Schnepp?
Yeah, it's great. Like in Mission Impossible 4, he has to be like the voice of reason. Really? You're going to climb down that window? Like, he's the guy that would be us saying, like, are you insane? And Cruise, like, jumping off the, you know. Yeah, Mission Impossible 4 was such a fun film. Yeah. I'm interested to see who they're going to get to direct this. But of course, I'm super happy that Simon Pegg is
they've
back.
already got their director.
Who's the director?
The same guy who directed Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher. And wrote
Christopher
Valkyrie.
McQuarrie.
Yes, thank you, McQuarrie.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a great.
Yeah.
I love Jack
Barbie.
Reacher. I recently saw it, and I was like, wow, that was a really fun film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a good match.
Simon Pegg can't do any wrong. Ever since Spaced, I'm a big super fan. So.
All right, what's next?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 hits AMC theaters on May 2nd, and it just may be getting a new title. According to reports, the film's name in Brazil will now officially be The Amazing Spider-Man: Rise of Electro. While it's not uncommon for movies to have slightly different titles in different international markets, there have been rumors that Sony was considering a new title for the domestic release as well. Schnepp, would you buy or sell a new title for The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Well, I spent about 12 weeks in Brazil working on these TV shows back in 2004. And when I went to just check out some of their DVD stores, the movie Dune, David Lynch's Dune, was called Lost Desert. So you just might as well throw away. They had like a bunch of, everything's retitled and changed just for the, you know, so the culture might accept it more. Like, it depends on where you are. They're going to retitle their movies. So I don't know if that's indicative, but I totally dig like what Marvel does. Thor: The Dark World. I don't need a 2. I'm happy with not having the numbers. So Spider-Man, Rise of Electro, the third one could be like, Mysterio Appears or whatever. It's a horrible title.
Mysterio
No one would ever
Appears.
use Mysterio Appears. But you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I think it's great. I hope it's the American title, Rise of Electro.
Yes?
I'm going to sell it. It's fine if it's for the Brazilian audience, but I think the title Rise of Electro is kind of cheesy. There's too much of this Rises stuff. We got Dark Knight Rises,
Or
Rise of the
Age
Guardians.
Rises or Age of.
Yeah, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So, yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't mind not having the 2, but find another title.
Dennis, what about Age of Electro?
See, I'm going to, oddly enough, I'm going to buy this. And here's why. I am notorious. I'm completely opposite from you, Schnepp. I prefer numerical titles. I like Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Toy Story, Toy Story 2. That's the way I like them, because then when you put them in historical context, it's much easier to look back and whatever. I mean, you give me the name of a James Bond movie, I couldn't tell you in what sequential order it came in. But I'm going to make an exception for The Amazing Spider-Man, and here's why. Simply because it's the rebooted franchise. So it's a lot easier to say and to have in your head the difference between Spider-Man 2, which I think was the best of the original Spider-Man movies, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That could be a little bit confusing. So say The Amazing Spider-Man, Lunch with Electro. I mean, maybe that, I don't know, maybe that becomes, but yeah, so normally I much prefer the numbers in the sequels, but in a case like this, I'm okay with a subtitle, so maybe not Rise of Electro. I agree with that. Too many Rise ofs coming on, so maybe something else, but I'm down for it.
Just have the Emperor rise. Yeah, and then just show your villain.
All right, what's next?
Attempts are still underway to bring us a Beetlejuice 2. Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter screenwriter Seth Grahame-Smith was recently brought on board to draft a script for a new Beetlejuice. And recently, original Beetlejuice star Winona Ryder was asked if she would be up to return 27 years later, to which she replied, "I'm kind of sworn to secrecy, but it sounds like it might be happening." John, buy or sell Beetlejuice 2 moving forward?
Sell. I sold this about 4 months ago when we first started talking about Beetlejuice 2. I still sell. Look, I love the original Beetlejuice as much as anybody. But it's too little too late. I think the vast majority of the movie-going audience today has no idea what Beetlejuice is. I think there are still some of us around who remember it. I don't think it can do well. I just don't. And look, all due respect to Seth Grahame-Smith, but Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was not so good. And then the other major feature he did, the one with Johnny Depp, where he was the vampire, the one that was just out with...
Dark Shadows?
Dark Shadows, yeah. He wrote the screenplay for that as well, and it's like, that script was not so good. So all these things combined, for me, as much as I love the original, and I'm totally cool with sequels and reboots, for me it's a sell. Dennis?
I'm going to buy it probably because while I like the original Beetlejuice, I don't have that same love and affinity that other people have for it. People are like, oh my God, Beetlejuice. And I just remember, maybe because I haven't seen it in a while, I'm just like, oh yeah, Beetlejuice, that was cool. So them doing a sequel doesn't bother me the way it might bother some other people. And I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Keaton, back again and Ryder.
Any excuse to put Michael Keaton on the screen,
Yes.
I'm totally good with anyway. Schnepp.
Yeah. Note to self: feed mayonnaise to tuna from Night Shift. Michael Keaton's one of my favorite actors, and I love Beetlejuice. So I've wanted a sequel for 27 years. So now that they're going to make a sequel, I'm super excited. You brought up two horrible points about both of those movies that were horrible. I couldn't even finish watching Dark Shadows. It was such a bad film. I wanted to like it. You give movies a chance.
I think we all did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm hoping that with the context of what already happened before, here's Beetlejuice, writer, Michael, what's his name again?
Michael Grahame-Smith.
Grahame-Smith, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, that dude. Please write a great script for this and fill it with a lot of great Beetlejuice moments is all I can hope. And I'm pretty sure that that's what's happening. I mean, I'm sure that they're like, hey, when you bring on a writer, a lot of the producers and the directors have scenes that they want the writer to add and so it's not just like, here, come up with something, I know they had a script like Beetlejuice in Hawaii like 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's not this.
Or Beetlejuice Goes Hawaii
or
or something
goofy, but so I'm really hoping this happens. To hear that Winona's going to be in it and everybody's coming back, that to me is just, I'm super excited for it. So I buy it.
Speaking of Michael Keaton, I don't know why. I'm so glad he's in the upcoming RoboCop because he is simply not in enough stuff.
Right.
There's nothing, his talent has not faded. He is so good. He can do comedy, he can do drama. And wasn't it the other guys?
Yes.
Wasn't he the police? He was aside
hilarious.
from The Rock and Samuel Jackson, who just had that small part at the beginning, I thought Michael Keaton was the best part of that movie. I thought his small role outshined Will Ferrell. I thought he outshined Mark Wahlberg. I just thought he was great in that as the captain. I thought it was really cool.
And Jackie Brown.
He's
been doing these little nugget pieces where he's like, he's incredible. Why isn't he in big movies again? So
soon. All right, what's next?
So.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Bourne Identity director Doug Liman has reportedly come on board to direct the upcoming Warner Brothers film El Presidente. Tom Cruise is attached to star, but the actor remains reluctant to move forward unless the studio can also sign his former A Few Good Men co-star Jack Nicholson. Cruise would play a Secret Service bodyguard assigned with protecting an elderly ex-president Nicholson after attempts are made on his life. Dennis, buy or sell the sounds of El Presidente?
Despite having seen 2 movies with similar premises and Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down, I still buy it. I think Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson are great. I think they have a good chemistry, especially if they have an antagonistic one,
Right.
which I'm expecting this one to be. And I like Doug Liman, and people forget he actually also did Swingers. That's where he got his start.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And I actually liked Born Identity quite a bit, and I even like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And so this, to me, sounds pretty good.
I buy this. I loved Mr. and Mrs. Smith, actually. I thought that was a really great little film. And you know what? They're describing the project as an action drama. With Jack Nicholson in there and the title El Presidente, I can't help if they're probably going to have a little, at least of a comedic element. Right. I mean, obviously, who didn't love these two guys together in A Few Good Men? I mean, they're great. Both of them super talented. Paired with this director, this premise, I like it. It's got to be a buy for me, Schnepp.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. They're going to have that scene with the president. You can't handle. That's what's going to happen. That's why Cruise wants him back.
I want that same line.
I just want that line. I thought Nicholson retired.
That turned out to be a rumor. That was
Is
a
it just
rumor.
a
Somebody,
rumor?
yeah, that wasn't true.
Okay,
As it turns out, he never said. Because shortly after that report came out that Nicholson is retiring, his publicist came out like 2 days later and said, not true. He's just become very, very selective. He doesn't want to work as much as he used to. He's still looking forward to doing whatever his next movie is going to be.
Get Nicholson then. He's in a limo.
I know, get
He's in a
him.
limo. He has 8 lines. One of them's you can't handle the truth. That's it. He's just like sitting there getting stoned in the limo.
Now his character's going to be at all the Lakers games.
Lakers
All
game.
the Lakers
yeah,
games.
Cruz, you gotta save me. He's like
Yeah.
inside this one area at Staples Center.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't know. So I buy it. Yeah, I'd like to see that. And when is that All You Need Is Kill movie coming out? I know they changed the title.
They changed
Summer.
the title. Yeah, they did change the title to
End of Tomorrow.
something
like
tomorrow. Yeah, I can't remember off the top
Age
of my
of
head.
Tomorrow.
Rise of Tomorrow. All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show called Mailbag. Look, if you've got a topic or a question you would like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every single day, we take a couple questions from the mailbag and address them on the show. Ashley's got a few of them pulled out. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Roman B writes, "Hi gang, my question is about misleading trailers. Literally brought into my head by Amy Rose just saying how the Need for Speed trailer could be misleading. It reminded me of Pathfinder. I was super hyped for that movie after seeing the trailer. And boy, oh boy, did my worst movies list ever welcome another edition after seeing that film. Do you guys and gals have a similar experience? What trailers pumped you up, with the movie leaving a bitter taste in your mouth? Keep on doing what you love doing. We all appreciate it."
Well, there's a bit of a difference. First of all, thanks a lot for the question, Roman. There's a difference between misleading trailers and, you know, I wouldn't call great-looking trailers to bad movies misleading. I mean, all trailers are designed to look great regardless of anything else. That's one category. And then the other category is actually misleading. To make a movie that made you think you were getting one thing and then you completely got something different. On the disappointing thing, to me, the poster child for this issue of a great trailer to a movie that really disappointed you has to be, I still think the best trailer ever made was the trailer to The Phantom Menace. I remember the first trailer to The Phantom Menace came out. All of us were so ludicrously out of our minds excited for it. And it came out, and we saw the lightsaber fights and the battles going on and that music playing, and it's like, it was euphoric. Like, seriously euphoric. It's like somebody slipped 25 Viagra into my cup and I drank it down. It was like, boom! Like, nerd boner. Seriously, that's where I was. I don't know if I can say that on the show, but I just did. Anyway, so for me, easily, that's it right there. But on the actual deceiving side and misleading, 2 trailers really come to mind. One is the Mission Impossible 2 trailer. Because in that trailer, aside from Tom Cruise, who has more screen time in the trailer than anybody else, the next person who had the absolute most screen time, is in like half of the trailer, was Anthony Hopkins. And that trailer made you think, oh my gosh, Mission Impossible 2 with Tom Cruise and Anthony Hopkins. Because he's in the whole trailer. He's in like 3 minutes of the movie, like 2 scenes. Wow. Like, so that to me, completely misleading. But the worst one I've ever seen for something like this is actually from a studio that I like very, very much. It was a Disney film called The Bridge to Terabithia, which came out 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. It's a wonderful movie. But the trailers make you think it's like another Lord of the Rings or Alice in Wonderland. It's about these 2 kids. The trailers really sell you that the movie is about these 2 kids who find this magical kingdom in the woods and their adventures in this kingdom, blah, blah, blah. That's what it sells you on. The movie is completely different. There's maybe 5 or 10 minutes that actually happen in Terabithia, which is just an imaginary thing. It's not real. The movie is really about these 2 little kids, and one of them dies horribly in a tragic accident, and then this little boy trying to deal with the death of his friend. That's what the movie's about, and it's wonderful. It's a great film, but a completely different film from what it sold. So I remember a lot of people were very, very upset because they took their kids to this movie, think they were about to see this fantasy adventure movie, and it ended up being this really, here's what happens when your little friend dies, like kind of a movie. It was so tragically misleading. I was really upset about it.
I remember seeing that trailer. I didn't see the movie, but I've read the book. I really liked it when I was growing up. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, this is not what the movie's going to be, because I know what the movie's about, and that's not it. They try to sell it as a Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, that's the best example, yes.
And I was like, no, unless they change the entire story, this is like a very small part of the story. So, yeah. And for me, I think the trailer that made me most excited was Terminator Salvation. I just thought, I was like, with that 9 Inch Nails song, I was watching Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles at that time, which was fantastic. Christian Bale, one of my favorite actors in there. McGee, he's a hit and miss for me. He does I really like Charlie's Angels, and then I didn't like Charlie's Angels 2. And but I actually saw him in a Q&A, and I thought, oh, this guy has some interesting things to say. Maybe he's really taking this seriously. And then when I saw it, I was like, why? And I was like, why did you do this? But and Terminator's a great franchise too.
Yeah.
Schnepp?
Well, Terminator 5, that's what we got going. So for me, I'll just pick 2 recent ones. Something where it's not misleading, but they just make the trailer look so great was The Counselor. When I saw the trailer for The Counselor, I got so jacked up. I was like, never heard it. I didn't know it wasn't on my list. I hadn't even heard of it yet. I was like, wow, when did they squeeze this one out? This looks great. Just all-star cast.
It turns out they did squeeze it out.
Yeah, they squeezed it out in the bathroom. Yeah. Whew. And then I saw the movie. Let's just leave it at that. For me, my biggest peeve is, and it happens all the time, but I'll still say, these action movies that show clips of things that aren't in the final movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll use Wolverine as the biggest example of that, where I saw multiple trailers that were released over the course of 5 or 6 months of each other, and they all had these ninja battles with Wolverine with the stogie hanging out, and you see all these ninjas in the snow. Then he's like, shink, explosion. That's not in the movie. There's not a battle in the movie. It's him running, and then all these dudes shooting off arrows and him getting poisoned and falling on the ground. There's no battle. There's nothing. The shot of him jacking a ninja with a motorcycle, not in the movie. I'm talking about there's multiple setup shots from a ninja battle that disappeared. And I was like, man, at least I can't wait to see that ninja. I remember in my mind, hearing some advance word about Wolverine. I was like, well, whatever. I can't wait to see that ninja battle. That was in my mind. And then when it didn't happen, I remember being angry. So unfortunately, that happens in so many movies. There's little clips of look, I'm cool with instead of using the wide shot, we decided to go with the side shot.
For the trailer,
Yeah, so we rocked it different ways for the trailer, or we had this opening shot of, Captain America jumping off of, something, or Iron Man, and what's the girl's name?
Black Widow?
No, the Pepper Potts.
Oh, okay.
They're together and they jump off, and then in the movie he's by himself and he jumps off. So they change a few things up because, the edit didn't work this way. We wanted to, she's back on the ground, whatever, it didn't make sense. I'm cool with that. Just don't show entire scenes that you're going to eventually cut out and put in the DVD. But I'm happy that it's in the DVD, so I'll get to eventually see this ninja battle. But that one is the most, pressing one that just, when I was thinking about stuff, misselling or misrepresenting a movie. It's I don't think they didn't do it on purpose. Chuck that ninja stuff in. We're definitely cutting it. It's just one of those things that, they decided to cut out, but that's to me the biggest trailer faux pas. So
all right, what's next?
Micah Harshaw writes, greetings and salutations, AMC Movie Talk crew. I discovered your YouTube channel back in June, and me and my 3-month-old daughter are huge fans of the show.
I've always said we are #1 with the 3-month-old demographic.
Aww. Quick question. I was watching TV the other night and a commercial came on that showed a clip of Wonder Woman, and she was performing her iconic twirl in order to transform. When they decide to put her story on the big screen, do you think they will keep that element, the twirl, or is it too campy? Thanks for answering and keep up the great work.
It is so funny that somebody sent us this question because I had like this is when you know you're really a loser, when you and your buddy have like a 45-minute discussion in depth about whether they should keep the twirling transformation of Wonder Woman. Me and my friend had like a 45-minute discussion about this like last week. So it's so cool this came up. I think you got to lose it. I think you have to lose it because really she's got this really weird magical power, and all it does is change her clothes. I mean, just alone, that makes it really ridiculous. I'm super strong and everything, but I also have this really cool magic power. What does it do? Changes my clothes. It's like, okay, no, that just doesn't work. And yeah, there would be a real hokiness to it. Like when you watch the old thing, and I think it was for like the new Samsung smartwatch that twirling Wonder Woman thing was in. I remember watching that commercial, and that's what sparked our conversation I had with my friend. I was like, yeah, that looked really bad. Can you just imagine like an actress standing there and going, woo, and spinning around and all? No, I think you'll lose it despite the nostalgia factor. Anyway, Schnepp, what do you think?
I just want to know who your friend is that was arguing for it for 45 minutes. No, dude, see, the whole thing about the spinning, you don't understand is like 45 minutes. All right. Yeah, I would laugh if I saw it. I mean, I really, honestly, it's like, it made some kind of weird sense back at like in the 80s with Linda Carter.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm sure it was just like, well, how is she going to change the woman? Just have her spin, man.
Yeah, because back in the day, you needed a device where, you needed the Superman phone booth. You needed a device where she could suddenly go from being, whatever the name of her character is, to Wonder Woman.
Right.
I mean, you needed that transformation, something
Diana
to do
Prince,
that. Diana
yeah.
Prince, thank you. To do that, you don't need that today. There's a million different ways you can do it. But anyway, sorry, Dennis, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, it is too campy and too cheesy, and it wouldn't work because this is they're trying to set a new tone for all these movies. I mean, you didn't see Superman and Man of Steel go into a phone booth and change outfits, and he's not going to because, I mean, first of all, when was the last time you saw a real phone booth?
Although I think they did do it in Superman Returns, didn't they? Once, just as like a wink,
joke,
as a tradition thing.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see that in Man of Steel, and for Wonder Woman to do that, I just think it would come off really cheesy.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless she spun around and then she was just naked. And people were like, what are you doing? Be like, it's the porn version,
All right, folks, listen, we have run all out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, if you haven't done so already, take a second and click subscribe on our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It'll keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news. And, of course, our daily AMC Movie Talk show and our weekend AMC Mailbag show. I want to thank, first of all, as always, sitting to my immediate right, the production manager of AMC Movie News, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter @ThinkHero and on YouTube, ThinkHero Pro.
And sitting to his right, writer, director, film commentator here for AMC Movie News, Mr. Jon Schnepp. Jon, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Twitter and Instagram @Jon Schnepp. Check out my Kickstarter, Unicron the Unicorn Barbarian. Thanks.
And, of course, our lovely host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter @AshleyMova.
And you can find me on all the various social media channels, just @JohnCampia. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Don't forget, the most important part of our show is clearly not what we have to say. It's what you have to say. Make sure you jump on down to the comments section and leave your thoughts on any or all the topics that we discuss here today. Agree with us, disagree with us. It's all good. That's the most fun part about being a film fan. So thanks a lot for joining us. My name is Jon Campia for AMC Movie News, Sons of AMC. And until next time, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.